Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here, and it is my extreme pleasure to be joined by my guest, Dan Dix of Press for Truth, who has the distinct notoriety of being banned from this platform, having his channel taken from him with no explanation whatsoever after literally 250,000 subscribers. I mean, hundreds of videos, I believe 5 documentary films, and in the recent months, simply attending events to document them on the ground, whether it be, anti-lockdown protests, which we're going to talk about today, or these Black Lives Matter protests where, unbelievably, he was attacked on camera several times physically, and he's the one that got arrested, folks. That is 2020 for you. So, Dan, how are you? Tell us what's new with Press for Truth. Give us an update on what's going on with YouTube, if anything, because I know you kind of brought that second channel along that was kind of underground and on your phone, etc. But give us a huge update, man. We haven't talked to you in a while. A lot of things are going on.
Yeah, man, I'm still plugging away. You know, when that happened, when YouTube terminated my channel, that really just fired me up to want to continue to do what I do even more. You know, it really solidified it in my mind that maybe I am over the target. Maybe I am having an effect. Why would they come after me in this manner? No copyright strikes, no guideline strikes. So yeah, I've just been continuing to plug away, whether that be going out to cover various events that are taking place around British Columbia, or just diving deep into the things that are going on around the world. You know, I covered just released a video about a half an hour ago about the wildfires going on in the West Coast, for example. So I'm taking things day by day, Jason, and not about to slow down by any means.
Well, that's excellent, man, because we need you on the ground. We can't lose Press for Truth. You've been vital in this fight for well over a decade, for those that do not know. So there's been no response on that YouTube channel. Tell people, aside from the new YouTube channel that's out there, where they can find you, obviously BitChute and all these other platforms.
Yeah, I'm focusing primarily on 4 platforms in particular right now when it comes to my daily uploads, and that's BitChute, Minds, Float, and Library. So those are the 4 right now. So it's bitchute.com/pressfortruth, minds.com/pressfortruth, lbry.com/pressfortruth or .tv, I think it is, and Float, flote.app/dandix PFT. Those are predominantly the 4 that I'm focusing on for a variety of reasons. LBRY is really decentralized. BitChute has good playback and is generally good video play. Float is great. I can live stream there. I can earn crypto. And there's a few others as well that I'm starting to join. I'm really diversifying my video sharing platform portfolio. Is going to be joining Rockfin. I'm going to be joining others. So I'm really spreading myself out right now, Jason, as kind of as a hedge against this censorship, because they may clamp down on any number of one of these things, but hopefully some of them take off and become the new YouTube, as YouTube is currently shooting themselves in the foot trying to become themtube.
Well, I love the Rockfin platform. I can't wait to see you over there, because right now we're actually live streaming not only to Periscope, not only to YouTube, but with the new technology via XSplit and the NVENC encoder, I can probably live stream to 3 more without any kind of IO restream or any of that in high quality, which is just awesome. And I think that we do have to utilize these other platforms. Why I think that one's more sustainable is because it takes an actual cash flow in, and it's hooked to Ethereum, which is obviously fluctuating right now, but still very, very hot. And, it's been a great platform to me, and, I'm about to move to IO, wouldn't be able to do it without it. So it's an amazing way to support us. Now, before we get into another way that you've launched to support independent media, I really want to focus in on these last couple of days, because I watched your speech in front of hundreds, if not, 1,000 or so people who were just fed up with this lockdown, arm in arm, hand in hand, not worried about social distancing and the new normal and the fear-mongering of what you called the television. You can really see who's watching a lot of TV these days, eh, Dan? So,
Yeah.
yeah. So tell us, how did these get started? They're out in Vancouver. Will they continue? What kind of actions are going to be taken next? Because, there's only certain areas in this country where people are taking action. Idaho being one of them. I don't know if you saw that video, but when they said this is our house and bust through that door, it's about that time. Tell us what's happening in your neck of the woods.
Well, in Canada, it's been a slow progression, but steady. So this started back in the spring. I attended the first anti-lockdown rally. There was about a dozen people back then. And as I said in my speech, back then I tweeted about it. That tweet went viral with over 3 million views in less than 24 hours. I got End the Lockdown trending on Twitter. But back then, the media was smearing me for that. Vancouver's Seth Rogen chimed in. It was like, "Go home, you effing idiot!" And people were like, "Yay!" And guys tried to fight me in parking lots, literally. It was really frowned upon back then. Fast forward to yesterday or a couple of days ago, whenever that was there, we're talking thousands of people. I estimate maybe around 1,500 or so. So we're talking from a dozen to 1,500 in the span of just a couple of months. And the reason for that is because there's been a push in Canada against people's rights. In Quebec, in Ontario, they have it a lot worse than we do here in Vancouver, in British Columbia. So these people see what's coming down the road. They see the mandatory masks. They see the restrictions on children. They see it all happening, and they're fed up with it. And they're ready to get out in the streets and say, look, unless we push back against this now, it's going to continue to incrementally encroach its way upon us. So the people of Vancouver took it upon themselves to say, you know what, let's get together, let's march around in the streets, and let's say enough is enough. We're not in favor of mandatory anything. And it's not to say we're anti-mask. That was a big part of the big point is that we're not, if you want to mask yourself, knock yourself out, go ahead. We're not going to stop you, but don't force us to do it. And that was kind of the main vibe behind the event, and it was great. I went there just to kind of document it and cover it, as I often do. Ended up giving an impromptu speech I didn't know I was going to give that day, but turns out I was given an opportunity to hop up on the stage, so I said, sure, let's do it. Got up there during my live stream and explained to people that, look, we are dealing with serious problems here all over the world. Berlin is protesting, London, England. But the important part of my message, Jason, was that we cannot look to the government to solve the problems that are created by the government, and that we must take the individual responsibility upon ourselves to protect our privacy, to gain knowledge of what's actually taking place in this world outside of the mainstream narrative. This comes within our own responsibility. So my message yesterday was to stop looking to the government to solve your own problems and to take it upon yourself moving forward in this post-COVID 1984 nightmare that we're all trying to navigate right now.
Yeah, and it's quite the nightmare. You mentioned those other parts of Canada, but you are obviously a Commonwealth just like Australia is. And you see nightmarishly the lockdowns and now the subsequent arrests in homes for people to dare to talk about or comment on lockdown protests, let alone attending them. And now
in Quebec, they have secret facilities, Jason, that they're locking people up in to which nobody knows the location of. And not only that, they're taking people there who they don't even know if they're sick or not. These are people who just refused to engage in the forced testing that they were doing in Quebec. And they physically isolated these people in a secret facility, the whereabouts of which are unknown. They don't even know if these people are sick. That's just the precedent that's being set in Quebec. It's absolutely mind-boggling how far this authoritarian clampdown is going.
Exactly. And, we talked about in the very beginning of this, really, more along the lines in March and April of possibly the military coming in and deciding to put you in a quote-unquote quarantine center, and who knew where that would lead. But now we're living through something that obviously, even the Daily Mail on their paper, I'm not sure if you saw the cover of this, but they showed the number of cases compared to hospitalizations and deaths and, basically put the hype to bed. And we're now way more locked down than ever. And we are now seeing people literally getting dragged out of their homes, dragged out of their cars, either arrested or taken to secret facilities. Meanwhile, they hype the numbers up around here with this college outbreak thing. These kids aren't quarantined. They're not really isolating. They're 18 to 24-year-olds living off campus by the thousands. And, a couple hundred of them supposedly have this. They're amongst the community. And, with zero hospitalizations, you would have thought you could have said, all right, we did it. We flattened the curve. With those 15 days that went to 180 plus to stop the spread, we did it. No. More clampdowns and harder restrictions, and all with this obviously very different election coming up. What are your thoughts now going into the home stretch of this U.S. election? Because as well as I do, these politics do really affect the globe.
Oh, my God. Jason, either way, in the next less than 2 months from now, if Donald Trump wins, people are going to lose it, and everybody's going to go crazy, and they're going to go nuts. And if he loses, people are going to lose it, and everybody's going to go crazy. They're all going to go nuts. I think that either way, either outcome, in the next couple of months, we're going to see some crazy times in the U.S. And as you said, that's going to permeate all throughout society. So, I don't want to be pessimistic, but I don't think it's looking good. The first half of 2020 was pretty nasty, Jason. The second half may prove to be even worse. I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong. But on top of this election, we have this talk of this second wave, right? They're calling it Pandemic 2. Bill Gates is already referring this to. So it's a perfect storm of this of a reason for people to clamp down for the as you call it, the predator class, to clamp down on society, and it's the perfect storm brewing right now to do so. And this is why we need to start to recognize these things and take it upon our own personal responsibility to fight this thing. I don't know if you saw my hidden camera undercover investigation video where I revealed there's serious privacy violations going on in Vancouver restaurants and bars when it comes to contact tracing and the privacy violations around that.
Whoa. Easy, Bill DeBurger. I don't need your attitude. I need you to sign the damn paper.
I know.
I enjoyed that because you did use the term, he was Bill DeBurger on one of these things because basically, he was putting information in. But what you're talking about goes outside just government surveillance or even corporate surveillance, et cetera, based on these apps and whatnot. This is literally giving people the opportunity, anybody that wants your identity, whether it be somebody following you or somebody that has the like mind, to say, geez, I got all these emails and phone. I could probably sell this to an information company and maybe make a little money. There are a lot of different ways that this stuff is kind of just out in the open, and you're literally putting in the hands of somebody who's making $8.50 an hour in some cases or less. This is the reality, and they look at you like you're a crazy person when you dare ask why they need your name and number. You thought it was bad when you were getting batteries at Radio Shack a decade ago, but now we're like next level, right, Dan?
Oh, I know. It's all just like the new normal to them. They look at me with amazement and wonderment and just like, why are you asking why? This is how it is now. Don't you know? Where have you been? And it's like, no, this isn't how it has to be. This is all being forced upon you. A lot of those restaurants and bars were following suggestions. These are recommendations. These aren't even strict rules. A lot of the places that are doing the temperature reading and the mask for their employees, the plexiglass, all these things, they're generally just recommendations here. But the brainwashing is so thick that they feel that it has to be done, And again, as I say in that particular video, when it comes to the managers of different establishments, I think it all comes down to how much TV are they watching. And if that manager of that establishment happens to be a heavy consumer of mainstream media, then they're going to be masked up and they're going to mask up their staff. And it's sad to see, but we continue to expose this for what it is. And yes, the other day it was so nice to see so many like-minded people gathering together to say, look, we see through the lies. We see what this is all stemming from. We see where this is going, and we no longer want to comply. That was also my message, Jason, was non-compliance is key moving forward. You want to push mandatory masks? Thanks, but no thanks. I will just choose another establishment. So that's what we got to do moving forward.
Well, I wish that I was even in that situation of an area where it is not mandated, because you bet your ass it's mandated here, and they are shutting down businesses. And, Cuomo himself with the bars put together a task force of state troopers with health officials, the SLA, to shut down businesses that did not comply. On top of that, my local community, after this outbreak, I sat and watched an hour and 20-minute Zoom meeting where, as follows, the mandate of masks and social distancing in New York goes: you have to have a mask on if you're outside or anywhere, unless you can make sure you're 6 feet away from somebody else outside, right? However, the only people that could actually find you is the health department. So I'm sitting there and watching these people with my local police chief, who I've known for 20 years, since he was a beat cop, Dan, and the look on his face when they decided they want to pass an ordinance so that the police can now pull people over on the street who are not wearing masks or not social distancing and give them an actual physical ticket for money. That's where we're at here in New York State. And like you said, with this second wave, the billionaires are hyping up. We've really not only got to push back, but push back hard and push back now. The time is now. The time is now. The time is now. It is not tomorrow. It is not next week. And I am sorry that, like Joe Rogan, I am jumping state. But my little ass has tried to push back against these people, especially in New York State, for well over a decade on many issues. And we've given ourselves over to billionaires. Michael Bloomberg, Bill Gates, and Eric Schmidt are your new dark overlords. So get used to it, I guess. Unless you want to get nitty-gritty, New York. There are 20 million of you. I'm rooting for you. I'll make a guest appearance when you do start pushing back. All right, Dan. We talked about privacy. We talked about personal responsibility. Mm-hmm. That brings us to our next subject. The lovely picture over here is pressfortruth.ca. That is his website. And this is a new project that you've put forth that I'm taking part in. There's actually a hyperlink down below right now in the description if you're watching this video. You can either click that hyperlink or you can go to pressfortruth.ca. If you do it with mine, you obviously support me. The other way you support Dan, I'm just trying to support Dan. And, again, times are hard in the independent media industry, so whatever you'd like to do, please do it. Dan, tell people what they'll actually be doing right now.
Yeah, so we've been working on this for a couple of months now, and this is something I've been really excited about, is developing this Faraday Cage for your phone, the PFT Privacy Protector. I'll show people what it is. What it is just that, a Faraday Cage for your phone. It blocks out all incoming and outgoing electromagnetic frequencies. We're talking Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, GPS signals, you name it. What you do, we've got these neat little magnetic buttons. You open up the pouch, you stick your phone in there, you close it up, and boom, just like that, Jason, you disappear off the radar. You are no longer able to be tracked, traced, and databased. You are no longer getting the dangerous radiation permeating your skin and your organs. And if you want to go from A to B to C, but you don't want the government or whoever else to know that you went to B, what you do is you go ahead and you slip it in one of these PFT privacy protectors. Now, obviously, the moment that you pop it back out of the phone, you're back onto the radar, and you can now be tracked again, and you can receive text messages and calls. You can't do that when it's in the pouch. But our custom design, we put in this little sleeve in the front. So if you still want to use the pouch and get text messages and phone calls, but keep it as a protective barrier against your skin, you can still do that, which is really cool, unique design. And we've made it so that it's nice, it's sleek, it's small, it fits right in your pocket. And it's just a really great way moving forward to be able to fight Big Brother and this contact tracing and all that stuff, and to be able to protect your health. But it's also going to be a great way for people out there to help fund the independent media, because this is actually a prototype that we've built. We've already dropped quite a bit of money into this, but it's going to cost a lot to produce the large print one run. That's why we went the crowdfunding source, or the pre-sales route with this one. So I've sold a bunch of these. I've got a bunch of other big names on board to sell them. Jason is going to begin selling them. And once we hit our target, we're going to be able to do our first print run, send those out within about 6 weeks to the customer. And I'm really, really excited, Jason. And I'm excited to have you on board as well, because this is an opportunity, again, to feel good about something, a product we can feel good about selling, while also the viewers who click on the affiliate links there can feel good about supporting alternative media while getting something cool in return. So it's a win-win for everyone.
Yeah, and I've seen some of these other ones. They're shoddy. They're not made of good material. They certainly don't have the snapping feature, which is extremely cool in my opinion. Making sure it's closed, making sure your device isn't going to come out, making sure it's not going to receive those, frequencies. It's not going to be able to track your GPS, etc. If you do want privacy in this age, unfortunately, these are the lengths that you have to go to, or even greater for that instance. And it's also a good way to get away from some of this screen time. There are so many people that have their phone right next to them, and basically, it's not going to turn off your alarm clock, guys. So you can still set your alarm with it. You put it in the pouch. You make sure you can't get those phone calls, those text message, those social media notifications, and you actually get the rest you need. And then you pop it out. It's like the good old days when you used to actually, remember when people used to take their phone off the hook? That used to happen, guys. I promise you. People would be like, F this, we're done today. Just take it off the hook. We're not here, or just let the machine get it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that's essentially what happens. Obviously, let's let people know. You'll know if you missed a call, right? Exactly. As soon as this comes back through, people that have left their messages, their texts, they'll all pop up. All those notifications will get going.
Mm-hmm. Well, one thing a lot of people are saying to me, Jason, is they're like, well, the contact tracing isn't mandatory, Dan. You don't have to download the app. These are just people who want to opt into the system. So it's kind of pointless. You're not blocking anything. And, here's what I have to say to that, Jason, is that we are seeing incremental moves towards this becoming mandatory. I've already shown in other videos that it's become mandatory for certain workers in India to have the contact tracing apps. Certain students in Michigan have to have the contact tracing apps on their phone if they want to go to school. So this is incrementally happening. And now we've just seen Google and Apple working together, and they've announced that the new versions of Apple and for Androids are going to have the contact tracing software directly built into the phone. So there's no longer going to be a need to even download any apps. It's already going to be in your phone. And they say it'll be opt-in. Obviously, it will be at first. But Jason, we know how these things go. Eventually, there won't be an option. All for your safety, of course, in the face of some sort of second wave. All of a sudden, it'll become mandatory. But if you've thought of this beforehand, like many of us have, you'll already have protected yourself with by getting one of these as a hedge against what we see is coming down the road, Jason.
And obviously those fit the biggest of phones, the Note series, the bigger ones, right? It's not like you're going to, you get it and then you're like, oh no, it's not going to fit. Yes, the pouch fits just about everyone. I just want to reiterate this. This is a pre-purchase. So this is really how you support us, guys, because again, whether it's me or Dan that you click on, it doesn't happen without you. So, if you want to support independent media, this is a great way to do it. It's the feel-good gift of the year. Christmas is just around the corner, and let's be honest. I don't know how merry it's going to be. I got to be honest. Get the shopping in now and be like, hey, by the way, they did download that app on your phone. Merry Christmas.
Yeah, exactly. I've been saying that as well. I think if you get one, your friends and family are probably going to be very intrigued and become very interested. So it's wise to purchase 2 or 3 of them. And I'll be straight up transparent with you guys here. We need to sell 5,000 of these units in order to do our first print run. And my sales are going good. Jason's, I hope, are going to go good. And I think we're going to get to that number. If we don't get to that number, which I don't think is going to be an issue, but if we don't, everyone gets a full refund issued right away. So there's really no risk here. But I do think we are going to hit that number. And once we do, bang, within 6 weeks, we get those printed and shipped out to you guys, the customers. And again, it's a win-win for everybody in the field of alternative media and for the viewers at home to protect their privacy and their health moving forward.
So Dan, what's next in your area, in your community, that's going to, again, push humanity towards a goal of getting rid of these tyrants. Because, again, this is not a Canadian issue. This is not just a U.S. issue. This is a global issue right now.
Yeah.
When Bill Gates goes not like on just like an American tour, but an international TV tour telling you this is a global vaccination effort with an order of $7 billion to start for the opener. You better open your eyes and get ready. So what's next, not only for Press for Truth, but going on in your area as well?
Well, I don't know what it's going to take for Canadians to get fired up as much as the Germans are, for example. Perhaps it's going to, just like a druggie who needs to hit rock bottom sometimes. The people who are brainwashed by the TV and wearing the masks need to have their own lives directly affected maybe before they realize, hey, this is stupid. What are we doing this for? So yeah, there's a lot to be done still in terms of raising awareness. As far as Press for Truth, I can only continue to do what I always do. I eat, sleep, and breathe Press for Truth. I'm just going to continue to bang out videos as I see fit, and I'm still working on things in the back end too. Got potential documentaries projects on the go. I might be working on my 6th documentary. But so yeah, I'm constantly working on things here, Jason. And as I said, the takedown of my channel, for example, has really only fired me up to want to do things like launching this product, starting to really push all these other platforms and getting out there in the streets and continuing to cover these rallies and just bang out the videos as much as I can. So I have hope moving forward, and especially for Press for Truth. I know it's been a shady, rough year, but I have faith that the audience is going to carry us through this thing. And yeah, I'm looking forward to what 2020 is going to bring. November is going to be insane. We know that, and maybe that's why they took me off of YouTube, and maybe will you too. I really hope not, but I think a lot of my friends and colleagues who do the similar things that I do are going to start to fall like dominoes as well as we lead up to the election. I hope I'm wrong, but at any rate, you should be joining them on all the other platforms anyways, like Rockfin and BitChute and Float and Minds and all of these things, just as a hedge, just in case. Because if it can happen to me, it can happen to Jason, and it can happen to others. So moving forward, I think everybody just needs to start diversifying their platforms, joining these other decentralized ones, so that they can continue to get this information from us moving forward, no matter what happens.
Absolutely. Dan, we will obviously be in touch. I think that we're in for the roller coaster ride that we can't even handle from October to at least January, and we'll see where we're at there, maybe up to February or more. I pray that I'm wrong too, but like you said, we've seen so much happen so quickly, but still at a slow enough pace where the general populace sometimes seems docile and brainwashed to the point where you wonder where this is actually going to end. So I love you, brother. Keep it up, and keep sticking it to the man. We'll see you later.
Yeah, man, you bet. Thanks so much for having me, man. Keep it up. Take care.
Absolutely. Love me some Dan Dix, everybody. Make sure that you are supporting Press for Truth. Remember, we are fully demonetized on this platform. $5, $10, $15. Big donors. It means the world to me. But right now, the Faraday Cage, it's right below. Okay, there's the link. It's a pre-purchase. Dan just told you all about it. It supports me. It supports Dan if you click my link. But again, I'm not going to hate you if you go over to pressfortruth.ca and support him either. I truly do love the guy. I think that his voice is a very important one. Okay? Remember, I'm a documentary filmmaker. All the documentary films are free right here, right now in the playlist section. If you're watching on YouTube, there they are right there. Thumb the video up, subscribe, share, join the Burmese Brigade, 57,000 plus. Can't be wrong. Ring that bell on notifications. And if they do kick me off the platform, rockfin.com is where I will be. It is another simultaneous stream. And guess what? We got an exclusive stream Tuesdays at noon for free. For free. You got to make a free account, and then you get it for free. I love you guys. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you on the flip side.